Eventually I just started kind of like teaching myself GarageBand, and then it led to Logic, and I started making like shitty diss songs to my friends, cool. And just made
diss songs.
Yeah, like really bad beats with just like, yeah, just terrible lyrics. But yeah.
So this podcast is about the both of you, your journey in music, and we'll talk about the new song coming out with Friendship, on Friday?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Sure.
I had a chance to see you guys. I'm in Nashville now, but I'm originally from San Diego. You played with Glades
oh yeah,
a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Where'd you see us?
Music Box in San Diego.
Yeah, with the balcony.
Yeah, it has that balcony.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys had Glades as your opener. So I saw you back, or whatever that was, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, first off, let's start with you, James. Where were you born and raised?
Born in Berkeley, California, and then
cool.
Did about 10 years in Northern California, and then Colorado. But Colorado was like more of the formative years, so I say Colorado.
Okay, so when did you move how old are you when you moved to Berkeley?
From Berkeley, we moved to Colorado when I was like 10 or 11.
Okay, so you're born and raised in Northern California, and then at 10 you moved to Colorado.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Right on. What was it like?
Yes,
so going from Berkeley to Colorado, what was it like? Definitely changing weather.
I know. I was the hot Cali boy in Colorado. No, I was I was like 10. No, I was good. I don't know. I remember, I was pretty young, but I remember, I don't know. I really kind of fell in love with the outdoors pretty young because of Colorado. So we lived kind of in the mountains or beginning of it. So yeah.
How'd you get into music?
I've kind of been doing it my whole life in some capacity. So my grandma was an opera singer, and then my mom had a little bit of it too. And I did not get that talent by any means, but so I started out kind of drumming was the first, I'd say, foray into music. So like, somewhere in like 4th grade, I started taking drum lessons, and then shortly after I started singing in like choirs and doing like Renaissance music, kind of like really old school stuff when I was pretty young. And then that led to like, I did musicals quite a bit through, middle school and high school. And then in college, I played soccer. So music kind of like fell back behind that. And then, eventually I just started kind of like teaching myself GarageBand, and then it led to Logic, and I started making like shitty diss songs to my friends, cool. And just made like
songs.
Yeah, like really bad beats with just like, just terrible lyrics. And then I sang choir in college, and then eventually I got a degree in sociology, which who the hell knows what you do with that. And then and then I went to a music school, like a production school in LA after college, and that kind of kicked it off and led to me doing some film and TV scoring. And then I got into a DJ duo, and I didn't like that. And then fast forward to, I met Brett at Lululemon when I worked there part-time just to make ends meet.
Okay.
And that's kind of my quick hit of how I started.
Right on. What about you, Brett? Where were you born and raised?
Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
And it's odd. Our stories are so similar, not necessarily in moving, but like, both played soccer in college, and we're just kind of jocks growing up that had music always available to us and always around. And I also started drumming. I took some drum lessons early in like 2nd grade or something, and then I played in like the school band and junior high and all that, and then kind of wanted to start learning about melody and stuff like that. So I moved over to guitar and just started teaching myself that. And got to college. I ended up blowing out my knee in my sophomore year in college. And so that was like the first time I'd ever really been away from playing soccer. And so I was like, I'm going to go record some songs and see what that feels like. And they're terrible. And hopefully they've been completely internet and all of that.
They're saved in my library. I've got them still.
But the yeah, so that was, I kind of fell in love with that process, and I played a few shows in that kind of time, and yeah, it was just as new, like the world got opened up to me a little bit, is what it felt like. And yeah, after college, I spent a little time kind of chasing a pro career and in soccer, and just kind of was like, didn't see, it's like my friends that really were making it as pros, and like, their salaries were still just terrible. And so it didn't feel like something, like it felt like something that had a cap on it. Like I could go be as good as I could ever be at playing soccer, and I wasn't going to make much money. And
sure.
So with that, music. I kind of, well, yeah. So no, but it wasn't like I'm going to go get rich playing music. It was just, well, if I'm going to be broke, I might as well do something that I can do for the rest of my life. And yeah, do what I love. And music really held that for me in that moment. And yeah, that was enough to like push me over the top to be like, all right, let's go figure this out. And so moved to LA, failed, moved home. Then it was more like an eye-opening thing of like, all right, I have a lot to learn. I need to like figure out how to run a DAW or like, Logic or whatever. And I need to learn piano, and so I just kind of let that be college round 2, albeit in my parents' house, in my childhood bedroom. And yeah, and then moved down, and yeah, also got a job working at Lululemon. And met some guy that was in a stupid DJ group. And yeah, just kind of, we hit it off as friends for sure before we tried anything musical.
So you were in LA taking a shot at music, and then you moved back home and then came back again?
Yeah. The more dramatic version is I got meningitis.
Oh my God.
And ended up moving home. I was also dead broke, and I think my friends were getting tired of me sleeping on their couch. So it was a convenient meningitis, but
a convenient meningitis.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yes, then moved home for like 2 or 3 years, and always was coming back down to just try and meet people and do whatever you need to do to make it in music, I guess.
Yeah. So like when you come, for somebody listening that was just like, okay, I'm going to pick up my stuff and move to LA. Like, how do you even like approach that? Like, I wouldn't even know where to begin.
So for me, it was definitely like one of those times where it was like, well, what else could go wrong? Like, or like, how much worse could it get? And like, it was just kind of a low point in my life, I guess, maybe. And I mean, I had $2,000 to my name and $2,000 on my credit card. So I was at kind of a dead even when I moved down here. And I moved into a studio apartment with 2 other guys. We were paying like $300 in rent. And that proved to be the hardest year of my life. But one you are so grateful for now. You look back and yeah, I mean, and it gives you confidence to face whatever comes next too. Like, and we didn't like, no one knows what they're doing when they enter like the music space, and or like especially as an artist, and
there's no one route really. It's just
right.
Yeah,
fling shit here or there,
Sure.
And that really is it. Is like you kind of do something that makes sense for you in your head. Like you say, all right, I'm going to try this and do it. And some of it's going to fail miserably, and some things that you didn't really expect to succeed will succeed. And after years of doing that, at some point you're going to say, oh, this is actually a career that I have, and this is what I do for a living. And I think we're both a product of that approach.
And when you guys, yeah, obviously you said you worked at Lululemon together and you were showing each other songs, you just figured out that you both were musicians or trying to pursue music. And when did you decide to work on a project together?
I mean, so I was at Lulu like a month and a half before he showed up, maybe, or something. So all my
You're both
coworkers
pretty
knew.
new.
Yeah, so all the people there knew I was just trying to do music, and then Brett shows up and told them, he does music, and they were like, "You guys should make a song together." And we were like, oh, "Okay, all right, we'll see." Everybody does music, but I don't know. I think eventually we were both semi burnt out on what we were doing at that. I was for sure at that stage. I think we both were fried on the current paths we were on. So I don't think we weren't interested in doing any music together. We just became buddies and got drunk around Santa Monica for a couple months. And I think eventually got really grossed out and tired of that. And then I think we played some stuff for each other. And, I thought his voice was nice. And I think he thought some things I did were cool in production, but I don't think we were that into each other's music at the time. But we liked each other, and I think eventually we just tried a few things and tried to make a song, and the first few were pretty good. Kids was one of the first ones we did together, like number 2, or I don't remember, 2 or 3, and then eventually, from his years of trying to make it down here, he had some contacts at like ASCAP and some other people, and I think it found its way. This pile of a few songs found its way to ASCAP, and that got passed around to a couple publishers and found its way to Prescription Songs. And I'm skipping a few steps, maybe 2 years or something, but eventually we had a couple pub deal offers to go sign, and that got us out of Lululemon.
Wow. And was that with those first few songs? Like, what was I know obviously Capsize was a huge success for you, but it sounds like
we didn't have that yet.
You had a bunch of other songs that kind of got the ball rolling for you. Like, was there one particular one that people were like ASCAP came to you and were like, yeah, we really like this, or they just kept hearing what you're doing?
Yeah, I think it was more the latter. Like for me, certainly, maybe this was the case for James. I think it was, but for me, these songs, like, I think it was like Kids and maybe like 2 others or something that never got released, or I don't know, but playing them for friends or whatever, I was noticing a far more genuine reaction out of them than I received in the past, when you play.
Oh, this doesn't suck. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, oh, this is so good. And you hear that, like, with the first song you ever play your friends, and it's terrible. And so, but now, like, playing it for actual music friends and like people that weren't just whatever regular
supporting
mortal.
you,
right? Yeah, and they were genuinely like, "This is really great. Like, will you send this to me?" Or and so I don't know, that kind of put in my head like, oh, this seems like it might be something worth putting my time and energy into. And yeah, so then again, we just kind of like kicked and clawed at like whatever we could find to have someone get on board and help us or whatever. And yeah, via ASCAP got introduced to Katie Fagan, who was really kind of just getting going as a publisher over at Prescription, and she's in Nashville now as well, but she kind of just took us under her wing, became like mom for us, and continues to be mom for us. And just like she was booking shows for us and things like when in those early days, and was just like, we need you, like, if you want to be artists, then you need to do artist things. And it was so validating just to have someone else, helping in that kind of way too. So all of that, like, and she was just doing everything she could to really just make sure the music industry knew who we were. And so we kept like a spreadsheet, I think, and we had like 40 meetings with different labels.
Wow.
By that time we had Capsize, and we played Capsize for them in all of these meetings, and not one of them like flinched or tried to like give us an offer or anything.
Really?
And then
nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then song comes out and they almost every single one of them came calling back. So
Of course, right? Once they see it go crazy.
yeah. And which is like
easy investment.
So sad and so dumb, but like it is. It's like the music industry is not based on music anymore. It's based on statistics and numbers. And there are definitely pockets that are exempt from that. But
yeah, there's good ones. Yeah,
there's purists still, but you know, the majors operate off of numbers. And
well, they can look at data in real time now, right? I mean, they can come out and be like, oh,
yeah,
well,
almost
this song only
instantly,
has this song only has 5,000 plays. Why are we going to waste our time? They need it. Like you almost have to build yourself a brand prior to even being invited to the table to have that conversation anymore.
Yeah.
Totally.
So once you said you were getting shows booked pretty early on, your publishers was booking your shows. What was it like playing together for the first time? Like, obviously, it sounds like you were in various projects prior, and then now you're together in your duo. What was that like?
Pretty bad.
Yeah, it's very bad.
we were bad. To be expected. You have to go through that stage, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
You have to go out and suck.
And I think part of that is like for me, that I'd spent a lot more hours like on a stage than James had at the start. And
musical theater, excuse me.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. Like,
I'm kidding.
But really, like, you had musical theater experience. I didn't. And he had DJ experience and I didn't. And then I had like pretty boy singer songwriter experience and he didn't. And so it was weird. I mean, so for both of us, this was a completely new thing to be in this very specific, like, at the time it started out just the two of us. We were like, well, shit, we need help. So we started hiring out band members and bringing in friends and stuff. And then it just started to feel a bit better. And really we were still terrible. It's not a great equation or situation to be a terrible live band and have a song starting to pop off at, you know, US pop radio. And so, but fortunately we got booked on a tour that was probably a month or two too long, but it forced us to get really good live in a really
63 days, 62 days.
Oh my gosh.
It was, yeah, pretty
50, 60, something like that. Yeah.
It was 53 shows, I think 54 shows, but yeah, in a short, like maybe 70 days, I don't know, but
it was taxing.
Yeah,
but it worked.
Who did you tour with? Or were you doing your own tour?
We opened for a band called Cherub. Very much not our world. But
oh yeah, I know the name.
Way back.
Yeah. Okay. And you did that many shows. Wow.
Yeah, we got to play some cool venues. We got to play so I grew up right by like Red Rocks. We got to play that.
Oh, wow.
So there were some very big shows and some small ones too, but
that's so
definitely
cool. I want to go there so bad. That's like bucket list.
It's a cool place. Yeah.
To go see. And there's like there's certain vibe, I'm sure, for that place. I mean, your music would probably be perfect there, but like I saw, like, you see some shows that are going through there and I'm like, I don't know if I'd want to go see NoFX play Red Rocks,
right?
Maybe Tame Impala or Glass Animal, something like that. I feel like is just like a different vibe for there, but I've never been. I'm just going off of what I've seen online and everything.
That's cool. It sounds really good there. It's nice to.
That's awesome.
Nice to play there.
So, did you have Capsize at this point when you get on that big tour? Okay.
So we put out Capsize April of that year, and that tour was in like September or something.
When you put that out, how quickly did it like really take off? Was it pretty fast? Did it really?
Immediately. Yeah, it was within a week.
And I think it was, which maybe this is tapping into like what's happening right now a little bit, but like that was the first, like we put out like 3 songs. We had a song with Matoma, a DJ from Norway, and he was having a moment and he got us a lot of like notoriety in the blog world. And so we got #1 on Hype Machine with that song that we did with him.
Oh wow, which is
And
huge.
then,
That was a
yeah,
huge deal then, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Hype
they
Machine
were
was
they were
like,
the thing.
and
right.
that preceded Capsized by only a few months or whatever. And so I think we kind of can forget that part of the story too, that like we
That
kind
was a
of
big part, yeah.
laid a
I
bit
mean,
of groundwork. And
sure, to have a #1 song on Hype Machine, that was like, that's like being like Spotify playlisted, you know, nowadays, right?
yeah,
Pretty equivalent, if not bigger.
yeah. And so back then it was a much more like, you know, people actually, you know, ran the playlists at Spotify and stuff. And it was like,
Right.
and so they they started kind of, they found us and emailed us and said, your song's reacting really well and we want to help support it. And very immediately it worked out.
Wow. Okay. And you put out Truce was the first EP you released, and that had Capsize on it.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
You did that big tour. So the next full record you put out, or your record, was Vacation. Tell me about that album. That was a couple years later, though, correct?
Yeah, that was a few years later. We went through. Yeah, so so Capsize brought us to Columbia and Sony, so we signed to them, and then put Truce out through them, and then we toured a ton. That following year, we went to Europe with Bastille. We did some other stuff, and then we didn't put out music, from what I remember, for a little bit, like singles or anything. And I think we did, I don't know how many singles we did with them, 2, something like that, 2, 3, plus maybe like 2 or 3 with Sony or something.
Yeah.
And then whatever it was only a few. And then, yeah, it just wasn't going smooth over there. And we were struggling with, you know, getting tiny budgets approved, and we made them tons of money. And it was just, it was kind of just tough. And then they had a big regime change, and our main guy got booted day 2 or something like that. And so we're like, this is going to get ugly. We're going to get out of here. So thankfully we got out of that deal.
I've heard horror stories with that, with the person that kind of onboards you and gets you going in the label. If they're gone, then right. Other A&Rs
just can leave.
Yeah. And then they're not like totally vested in you, so to speak, because
right.
Find you or whatever.
It's the cliche story. I mean, it's not unique to us for sure.
Right. No, of course not. No, I'm just saying I've heard that before, unfortunately.
Yeah. And then that led us to signing an indie deal with Ninja Tune, and then we put out Vacation through Ninja Tune.
Cool. Okay.
But yeah, that album was kind of we did most of that ourselves. Well, we did some productions with other people, but we did, I think, a lot of it ourselves, right? I don't know. I can't remember. It was so long ago.
It was a lot of it. Like we, being on Columbia, we kind of we had this chip on our shoulders. I think after even being there for like 2 years, there were people that thought we were DJs, and they're like, I can't wait to see like, you know, a live set, and like things that were like, I don't know how to DJ. Like we're a band, and I think we felt like we were always having to try and like tell that
prove who we were. Yeah.
We had this chip on our shoulders, for we wanted respect. Like we want, like any band, that matters more than the career itself. And which is dumb, you know. At the end of the day, you're just happy to be able to make music and get it out there. But in those early days, you're so precious about it all. We're like, no, we're a band, and we like trying to say that we're talented or something, I think, but like, who cares? Like, and so the album really, I think, was a response to that a bit. Like we were like, we know that this is not technically a good business strategy to put out an album, but it's what we want. Like we want to be seen as an album type band. And so I think it was important, as much as I think it was better than what it received in terms of like streams and all that stuff. Says every band who puts out a flop.
Is that where I saw you guys? Was it on the tour for Vacation?
I think so.
If it was Glades,
it was the Glades, because it must have been before. It was pretty quickly before the pandemic. hit? It was like around that's not, I don't know, I can't remember exactly, but it was not that much longer after
Yeah,
the world
it's
shut
like
down.
probably like end or like June. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean
the
summer
summer
of
before or something. Yeah, but
2019.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
and now we're doing
yeah,
singles because
yeah,
the album model doesn't work.
yeah. We've given up any self-respect, and we
Don't care.
No.
yeah.
Where were you guys at when the pandemic hit? Were you home from tour or working on singles? What were you guys up to?
Yeah, we were. We hadn't put out singles in a little bit. We did like acoustic versions of the Vacation stuff and put it out, but that following winter or January, February, we went out on tour with. We opened for a guy named Eric Nam. It's like a K-pop. He's just pop now, but
Okay.
got big in Korea, and so yeah, we opened up for him, and we were mid-tour, and I think I got COVID. Pretty sure.
Oh wow.
I'm pretty sure because we were like in and out of Canada. I mean, nobody knew what was going on. We were in and out of
Right.
Canada. We were in Seattle when it was popping off, San Francisco, and I think I had COVID. Pretty sure. And then about a week later, Brett started coughing, and he went down. He missed our. Was it our last?
Yeah.
It was. He missed our show in San Francisco.
Oh,
So
wow.
I called. Yeah, I had our keyboardist come up and play with me and sing. Her name's Celeste, and goes by Tucker. But yeah, and then our last two shows in LA got canceled, so the tour was done.
Oh, so you got sick, Brett, and then then it started to happen. Like people are becoming more aware of this virus
Totally.
going around.
I started it. I kicked off the shutdown. Yeah.
I didn't know if it was you or Tom Hanks who
Yeah,
got it first.
Oh yeah, that's right, Tom.
Pretty sure it was me.
Pretty sure it was me.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that obviously shuts down the tour. And then once you're better, when do you start writing music again?
And that was I actually heard this sentiment from quite a few artists of different, not just musicians, but just art in general. I think there was like all this pressure to create immediately once the world shut down, because you're like, all right, now I'm home and I have nothing to do, so I need to like produce.
Do the pandemic song. Yeah.
Right.
And I found that so stifling. And so I think we both did. And that kind of pressure that we brought on ourselves, like nobody did it. We didn't have our team barking at us or anything like that necessarily, but like, yeah. And so we kind of just said, we're going to chill. Like, we're just not going to do anything. And then like, we do need to do something, like we need to write, but like, let's take the pressure off first. And then once, yeah, it's, I come from such a, like, I don't know, we both do, but like we're, jocks, and it becomes a bit of a militant, you find a process, and it's like, this is how we do it. And I didn't really honor the fact that art and music requires emotion and feeling. And so you do kind of have to honor your feelings. And if you don't feel like making it, there's a balance for sure. Like, you're not going to have a career if you only honor
feel it.
Yeah.
Don't feel it.
Yeah.
But be a little bit of music. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I'd rather watch a show.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it today.
But yeah, and I think James he has brought that out of me a lot. I kind of, would call him I don't know, wimp or something, maybe early days, but I've learned that
I'm emotionally intelligent. Let's just say it. I'm emotionally intelligent.
But yeah, I think that's been a big learning thing for me and all this, of like, there are times when you need to just honor, like, you're wasting your time by sitting there and staring at a screen trying to force something. Go for a walk. Like, you're going to have a thought while you're out there, or like you're going to hear something that, I don't know, like,
go live to recharge the tank, basically.
Yeah,
sure. And I'm sure if you're sitting inside all the time, it's probably hard to get creative.
Yeah
I mean, you're not out really living life, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I've heard.
So we just ended up taking time off basically that year.
Okay.
And he moved up to his parents' place in North Idaho in a lake, and I was obviously still in LA, but I eventually went up there with my fiance and we visited him and had a little lake time. And I don't think we wrote music till November, September, something in there,
wow.
maybe. I don't
Towards
really
the end
remember
of last year.
but that fall, I kind of remember at least turning it on a bit.
Okay.
And then go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying. Then we started to kind of, think about actually finishing some of these ideas, and so we started getting going, and then we got a pile of music together. Top of 2021. I'm losing track of the years. We're in 2021. Yeah, end of 2020, beginning.
It's hard to believe it's almost 2022. Like what?
Oh no, man!
What happened?
I wrote 2020 on a check the other day. Oh my god! But yeah, kind of top of 2021, we started getting a pile of music together, like 10 songs, and you're starting to hear those now. So
when did you decide? Did you decide at that time to not put it out as like one project and kind of, like you said, play more of the singles?
I think since we put out Vacation, and obviously Brett said it didn't pop off big time, so that's what every artist says, but I thought that had some singles on it. I thought that had I could have had a larger life if we trickled it out a bit, or a longer life. So I just think for us, it's going to take a bunch of singles, I think, and building that momentum back up. So yeah, for me, I've known since that album came out, it was like, all right, singles for a while. And then maybe down the road, we'll kind of make sense of it all and compile it into a larger body of work. But yeah, I want to do we want to hit it like every 4 to 6 weeks, do singles, starting in the top of the year.
Nice.
And I don't know, go as long as it takes.
I mean, we're in it now. It started.
Right, we're in it, but get on that even more regular schedule of every month starting in January. So
rad. And you put out All My Friends. Was that, from what I read, wasn't that kind of about your experience over the past year? Or did I get misinformed?
Yeah, for sure. There was. I think
we tried. We tried to do the pandemic song. Yeah.
I think the thought kind of came from me in the sense of I typically am not someone who would say that ever. Like I'm quite an introvert. I enjoy my alone time, and I think we were in a session and we were just, I don't know, it was very much right in the thick of it all, and I was like, I miss my friends. I miss being around people. I miss all that, and obviously it resonated with James, who. He's become more of an introvert in his old age, but he's definitely an extrovert, people pleaser, and so he had stuff to say about that as well, and so it kind of made sense.
I'm not a people pleaser. Did you see me on that flight the other day?
Yeah.
Oh, both.
And you have your new song comes out on Friday, like we talked about earlier. It's called Try. What can you tell me about that song?
Featuring our friend Lauren Sanderson. We originally wrote it a few years ago now, probably two odd years ago with Winona Oak.
Okay. I've actually interviewed her. She's great.
Yeah,
sweetheart. Yeah, she's great. We love any chance to work with the Scandies, any Swedish person or people from Denmark and whatnot in Norway, but. I wrote a few years ago with her, and it was like a pretty stripped back version of the song. And then, we kind of built it up and reproduced it. And you probably haven't heard it yet, but it's kind of like a high energy song. I think eventually it gets there. But Winona is not featuring on it, and was doing her own stuff. So wanted to focus on not doing features. So we started sending it around to some friends, and we met. I don't remember how we met Lauren Sanderson originally, but I think we just got connected from management or something. But I became pretty good friends with her over the pandemic, and did some stuff for her project, upcoming stuff, and working on some songs for her. And then I think I just played it for her, and she's like, "I'd be sick," and I just asked her if she wanted to be on it, and she said, "Yeah." So here we are.
Awesome. And she's on the song. She's and aside from the two, or what will be the second one? You said you have a lot more songs ready to come out.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, we're sitting on about 10 that are
Wow.
like anywhere between probably 70 and 90% done. And then there's another 5. We're actually both in LA right now, doing a bunch of writing again. Just trying to keep, it's really for us, like at this point now, we've never had this where we're sitting on like such a pipeline of music to put out. And that's kind of fun because we're kind of just seeing if we can beat them, like,
Sure.
just move them on to the top, and hopefully they all see the light of day, and hopefully they all make their way out. But it's just a good problem to have so many songs to like put out. And it's really, I think, the only process that I think could work for us, especially in a post-pandemic world or whatever, where you're touring and there's a lot more things that take up your time. Having that kind of pipeline gives us a lot more confidence to sustain momentum, really.
Sure. I mean, it makes sense
Yeah.
Are you guys playing shows yet, or have you played shows yet?
No, we're starting to look at like touring stuff next year, but it's kind of like, because we took so much time off, we want to get, at least a few songs out and give ourselves a reason to go on tour, But yeah, we're looking at some, like, trying to look at some opening slots and stuff, and do some lower risk stuff, just as we build momentum back up, like Brett said. And yeah, eventually we'll probably tour. I would guess sometime mid to late next year, right? Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait.
But that's a guess. Who knows what's going on? I don't know.
I don't know if you went through Nashville last time you were on tour, but hopefully we'll see you through here, because like I said, I saw you in San Diego.
Yeah.
So
we usually hit Nashville. We've hit it a few times. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I can't wait, because like I said, your set before was dope when I saw you guys play, and I appreciate you doing this interview too. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Yeah. I have one more question for you. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Don't overthink, honestly, I jumped in there. James looks like he had something on the tip of his tongue.
Be an accountant. No, no, go ahead. I got one after you. Go for it.
Yeah, I think that's because it's so easy to do, because like we said, like no one knows what they're doing. And so I've thought about that a lot, like, because I care about it. Like, I do like helping people. I like, we have a few artists that are in earlier stages that we try and help. And it's like, there's no, like, you take our story, for example, there's nothing we did that, like, I don't know, we just had a song pop off. We got lucky. Like, and so it's show up, like, do the work, like, write every day. Even if it's just journaling or something, like getting thoughts out, like that creativity is definitely comes from some kind of creative muscle in there that requires developing and like nurturing. And so put in that time, but really it's like manage your expectations and your emotions and just keep hammering away at it. Like, make 1,000 phone calls and just find your market, really. And that starts within the industry. Get your people on your team, because music is subjective. Like, I hate a lot of music that some people love, and vice versa. I love a lot of music that some people hate. And so to me, there's a home for anyone who's trying to do it.
I love it.
James?
I was, yeah, kind of what he said. Two things I would say: there's space for it all. I really do believe that. So create what you want to create and what naturally kind of comes out and stuff. So yeah, remember that. And then I think it's kind of, he already said this to a degree, but just get ready to outlast. You just have to get ready to persist and be in this for a while, potentially. That's kind of it, because it's potentially a very long road, and it's not a aim to get to one place and you made it kind of thing. It's just, you just do this. And if you do it for your life, you're going to get some wins. So that's kind of it.